this socialism thing is really an interesting, bit of propaganda. And let me just say a word about it, because I do think it's interesting. We don't have a very well-developed vocabulary in our country about politics. We have a lot of silly finger-pointing. The correct term for my philosophy, in addition to sustainable development, is social democracy. It is the name of the ethos that prevails in the northern European countries. And they have social democratic parties. So they're not socialist, they're social democratic. And the difference is that socialism, the correct meaning of socialism is state ownership of the means of production. And a socialist economy is a state-owned economy. Sweden, Netherlands, Denmark are not state-owned economies. They're private capitalist economies, but they're not raw capitalism like America is. They're not what I call corporatocracy, which means being run by the corporate lobbies. They are democratic countries that are market-based, but they tax and then they provide universal services. And this was called the middle way 75 years ago. So Sweden was called the country of the middle way between socialism on one side and raw capitalism on the other side. My favorite philosopher is Aristotle. Aristotle said, moderation in all things. And that's what I believe is the right way. He also said that about politics, and I think that it's also true in this regard. Raw capitalism gives all the money and the power to the rich. Socialism gives all the control to government. Social democracy is the middle path to have a market system with freedom, but also with responsibility and with moderation. And interestingly, if you look at these social democratic countries, not only are they happier, but they trust their government more, lower corruption, and they also report a higher level of personal freedom to make important life decisions than Americans. Because Americans feel trapped right now. Can't afford college, can't do this, can't do that. Whereas in these countries, they feel empowered to do it. So we have so much propaganda. We're in the world of Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is a nasty, nasty man. He's one of the greediest, nastiest people on the planet. He owns Fox News and he owns the Wall Street Journal. And wherever he is in the world, mainly the English-speaking countries, he's promoting the myth that climate change is false. He's promoting tax cuts for the rich. And my exercise in the morning, Sonia can tell you, is reading the Wall Street Journal. Because when I read it, I run around the walls. Like a hamster. I cannot stop. And then I sit there at 5 in the morning. It's an aerobic exercise, typing out op-eds. Because it's so outrageous, the lies that are told. But that is how money works in this country, which is that the mainstream media are also corporate controlled. So it's very hard to be heard. It's very hard for us to have an intelligent discussion in the country. So I don't know the answer to your question, which is how do you win? But what I do know, the funny thing about all of our opinions in this country, ask Americans, is climate change serious? 70% yes, 30% no. Should we invest in fossil fuels or renewables? 70% renewables, 30% fossil fuels. Should we tax the rich more? 70% yes. Should we stop the overseas wars? 70% yes.